Hey guys, I'm Dave.
And I'm Len.
And today we're going to talk about famous battles that occurred in June. Why don't you start it off?
Well, the most famous one I'd say right now is Waterloo.
Yeah.
As the actual Waterloo campaign, you had the Battle of Quatre Bras, Ligny, then the Mount St. Jean Ridge, and I forget what the name, in the east between Grouchy and the Prussians. And you also had a second battle the next day where actually the Prussians and the French kind of shot at each other for a couple hours and stopped because both sides were running out of ammunition and Grouchy retreated.
Yeah.
So, and also Napoleon had Marengo, which is in Italy about 1800, and he referred his greatest victory. And in Waterloo, he referred to the fact that he lost the battle at 5 o'clock, but won it at 7 o'clock. And he wanted to see the same thing happen at Waterloo, but that's where the Duke of Wellington met his Waterloo. So.
Yep. Yeah, and plus it was an extremely famous battle for that matter, and there's been quite a few games about it too, so it's well represented in Wargames. All right, second one I would mention, well, you mentioned the first one. The second one I would say is D-Day. Everyone knows what D-Day is. That was in, what was the exact date? June what?
June 6, 1944.
Okay, there you go.
Operation Overlord. And yeah, do my Walter Cronkite accent. We used to do these documentaries on World War II.
Yeah, that was the best showing by paratroopers probably that I know of, even though almost all of them landed in the wrong place. By landing in the wrong place and continuing to attack in small groups, the Germans thought the Americans were literally everywhere.
Yeah. One thing I found out that Utah Beach, where the American paratroopers was added on literally only a month before the battle. And the planners thought that they were going to have a disaster in their hands because...
Well, they had the disaster at Omaha instead.
Yeah, they thought Omaha would be easy. Because the thing with Utah, it was a small beach. And if they couldn't get off the beach, all the Germans had to do is close their eyes and shoot in the general direction, and they'd be killing Americans.
What was the beach the British and Canadians landed on? Was that Sword Beach or something?
Sword, Juno, and Gold. I'm trying to
okay.
think. I think the Canadians landed on Sword.
Oh, okay.
They were led by Scotty from the USS Enterprise.
Actually, I saw that on Facebook the other day. Yeah, they're talking about his exploits in World War II.
Yeah, because he was part of the first wave, and I think he actually lost a finger in the battle.
So I guess for once, a article on Facebook was actually true. I think that's the first time.
Yeah, because he took pains to cover up. He'd hold things so you wouldn't see the missing finger. But occasionally, if you watch the original series, you could see it. He wasn't, perfect on that.
Oh, okay. Oh, you probably really had to look because I don't think they probably focused in on his fingers very much, so probably seeing it distance.
Yeah, sometimes when he moved, you could see that he's missing a finger.
Yeah. Most of the people I've met who are missing either part of a finger or a finger are all of the age of about 60 and over, because back in the days when there was actual factories in the United States, people would occasionally have accidents and stuff. Now that all the factories have moved to Mexico and China, there's really not many industrial accidents like that anymore in America, just due to the fact that we don't have any factories anymore, or not many at least.
Well, we have higher safety standards too. Yeah, we have an obsession with safety that other nations do not have. So.
Yeah, I temporarily worked at a factory, and I think the federal organization is OSHA. Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork and stuff you have to fill out for that, and you have to keep. They have what's the MSDS record, where you have to keep track of every single chemical used in the factory. You have to have a record of it and all this information about it. And if they come to inspect and you're missing any of that, you get fined. And basically, anytime OSHA comes in, no matter how hard you try to comply with them, they're going to find something wrong and fine you.
Yeah.
But anyhow, back to the subject. We were on D-Day.
Yeah. also on the other side of the world, we had the invasion, the Marianas campaign, where we had the invasion of Saipan. But offshore, we had the Battle of the Philippine Sea, which is, people tend to forget, is the largest carrier battle in World War II, actually in history so far.
How many carriers were in the battle? I don't recall.
Japanese had 9.
Wow.
We had, I think, about 16. That's including, the attack carriers and the light carriers. I'm not including...
Well, the jeep carriers and stuff.
Jeep carriers are not included. That's a little additional one. But and we managed to sink 3 of their carriers. Now, mind you, 2 of them were by submarine, but...
whatever works.
Yeah, and I think we also got a few cruisers, like this, whatever. We managed, our radar was much better, so we were able to intercept the Japanese attacks. And that part of the battle is called the Marianas Turkey Shoot. Because one of the things I always told people that it was a close victory. Japan could have won, and the only reason why they lost is they had too much good luck. And the fact that the Americans could not find them before they launched the first attack. So hence they had all their fighter craft back. There were nobody escorting the any attack forces. So that when they when the radar sighted the incoming Japanese, we were able to launch all these fighters and just slaughter the Japanese forces. So, because they actually had longer range recon planes. They knew where we were. They were following us. We couldn't find them. So, one day, their flagship was the Tahoe, and it was an armored aircraft carrier. And it was hit, and there were like aviation fumes filling up one section. So damage control opened up the vents and let it go. For some reason they thought if they just vented out, everything would be okay. Of course, it filled up the carrier and hit a spark somewhere and exploded. And it exploded with such force that the armored deck actually bent in half, like bounced up. So yeah, it was abandoned ship time.
Gotcha. Know of any in the black powder era that are June?
Actually, one thing with in the black powder area, most of the battles are concentrated in the autumn. Because what happens is usually for June, this is when you start campaigning. Because you spent April and May gathering the supplies, the fodder, and also getting information about where is the enemy. And then you start, in June you start marching. That's why Waterloo was kind of unusual for this time, because a lot of soldiers thought that this would be the first battle of the big war. So they didn't realize within a couple of weeks the war would be over. Because I'm trying to think also, the Civil War must have had a few. That,
I'm sure it had plenty, actually. There's so many damn battles in that war.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what was it? When did things like Chancellorsville and a few others occur? Because I think Chancellorsville was on the eve of Gettysburg. That was in July. So after Lee defeated Hooker soundly, he's like, oh boy, let's go north and grab a lot of supplies. And
yeah, I mean, fighting in that war in June or July, I mean, must have been just miserable, because I mean, their clothing they wore was heavier than the clothing people wear now. So I mean, they get much hotter and stuff just by the clothing they're wearing and stuff. So that's just been miserable with all that marching and stuff and that wearing that stuff.
Yeah, because all the soldiers would be issued wool uniforms.
Yeah, could you imagine wearing wool when it's like 100 degrees out?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to figure out, when did they have, at a certain point, they started issuing like a summer dress or a winter dress. Because I think sometime in the last half of the 19th century they started doing that. Because I know after the American Civil War, you could get cotton was more plentiful. You could, make uniforms in cotton for the summer because they started issuing them in places like the Caribbean or India. I'm almost certain the British, but the French may have started it too because they had a lot.
What about the British colonials? Were they wearing wool too, or I know the shirt, undershirt. I guess you would call it an undershirt, that gray thing they wore under their uniform. I think that was cotton, but like the pants and stuff, was that wool?
Well, linen, I think.
Linen. Oh, okay. That's not too bad then.
Yeah, but when they started issuing like summer clothes and summer uniform and winter uniforms, so yeah, because in the gunpowder era, you tend to grab a supply, start marching, start campaigning. There used to be counter. Sometime in autumn, or like you'd march to the nearest fortress and lay siege to it, and that was your campaign year. Because, like I said, in the gunpowder era, I think also a lot of the ancient era, there's a lot of fighting in autumn. Because a friend of mine wanted to do all these battles on their anniversary dates, and we're finding out that, May doesn't have too many great battles. Same with April has Shiloh, and that's about it. So, yep. So there were some important battles in June, but not that many battles.
Gotcha. Anything else?
No.
All right, that's all we got, guys. We'll have some new material for next week. Have a good one.
Yeah.